Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Bexar County Court at Law number 6 in the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. And today we have our plea docket in the afternoon. Representing the state is in all matters is Ms. Megan Galloway, Mr. Eddie Villarreal. The cases we have set for pleas today are cause number 648-446 and 648-447, State of Texas versus Jose Chavez, represented by Mr. Michael Dominic. Cause number 624-742, State of Texas versus Christian Cisneros Torres, represented by Mr. Michael Dominic. Cause 661286, State of Texas versus Anselmo Mendez, represented by Mr. Jesse Sanchez. Cause number 637815, State of Texas versus Melissa Camacho, represented by Mr. W.D. Friesenhahn. Cause number 658142, State of Texas versus Michael Perez, represented by Ms. Suzanne Kramer. Cause number 642474, State of Texas versus Joseph McGee, represented by Ms. Linda Corley. Cause number 646382, State of Texas versus Jordan Reynolds, represented by Mr. Nathaniel Navy. And Ms. Gross, would you please advise the attorneys and the parties of probation procedures, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon. Attorneys and defendants both get a pen, please, because I'm going to be giving you a telephone number here in just a moment. Anyone residing outside of Bexar County or the state of Texas at this time, or if you intend on moving outside of Bexar County or the state of Texas, the judge needs to be advised prior to you giving your plea. Okay. Anyone that is placed on probation today, you will be contacted by the probation department, hopefully within the next 48 hours. However, if by Tuesday at lunch, you have not received any notification from the probation department, either via telephone or email, you need to call this telephone number. Ms. Benavides has put it in the chat section. It is 210-335-7446. Advise them that you are placed on probation today and that you have not yet received an orientation appointment. It is your responsibility to make sure that you go to orientation and you sign that paperwork. Failure to do so will result in a motion to revoke being filed and a warrant being issued for your arrest. Defendants, do any of you currently or intend on residing or moving outside of the state of Texas or Bexar County? Anyone? Raise your hand, say hello. Okay, and attorneys, if you have any other information otherwise, please advise the court. Anyone have any questions about the probation orientation? Awesome, good luck to you all. Thank you, Judge.
You bet. Okay, we've got several Spanish speakers and our interpreter is present and ready to roll. Let's start with Mr. Christian Cisneros Torres, cause 624742. Are you ready on this case, Mr. Dominic?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
Okay.
Sí.
This is cause 624742, State of Texas versus Christian Cisneros Torres. Mr. Cisneros Torres and Mr. Dominic, I'm looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference that supposedly has both of your signatures on it. In fact, Mr. Cisneros Torres, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Sí.
Thank you. And Mr. Dominic, as attorney for Mr. Cisneros Torres, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions that purports to have your signature on it, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, this document is present in English in one copy and Spanish in another copy. Is this your signature on each of these copies, one in English and one in Spanish, Mr. Cisneros Torres?
Sí.
Thank you. By signing these documents, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read these documents or have them read to you in their entirety? If you had any questions about what was on these documents, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney, Mr. Dominic, so that in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents. Is that correct, Mr. Cisneros Torres?
sí,
Thank you. Mr. Dominic, as attorney for Mr. Cisneros Torres, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
We have, Your Honor, and in my opinion, he is, Your Honor.
Mr. Cisneros Torres, are you a United States citizen, sir?
no,
Mr. Cisneros Torres, if you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a plea of guilty or nolo contendere or the offense
no me
charged
opongo,
may result in your deportation, your exclusion from admission to this country, or the denial of naturalization under federal law. Mr. Cisneros Torres, have you discussed with your attorney and been made aware of the mentioned consequences? And are you now still knowingly wanting to enter a plea to this offense?
no me opongo.
Mr. Dominic, do you want to chat with him?
Yeah, I think he didn't understand the question, Judge, but we have a signed Padilla letter from him to that effect, and he's consulted with an immigration attorney. So he's well aware of the consequences.
Okay, well, I think the law requires me to read this to him and he needs to answer this question. I'll be happy to read it again. Would that be
Yes.
helpful, or do you want to discuss it with him?
I can discuss it with him if need be, but if you wouldn't mind reading the question again.
Sure.
Sometimes he has some hard time hearing.
Mr. Cisneros Torres, this is the question I need to ask you. If you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a plea of guilty or nolo contendere for the offense charged may result in your deportation, your exclusion from admission to this country, or the denial of naturalization under federal law. Mr. Cisneros Torres, have you discussed with your attorney and been made aware of the mentioned consequences? And are you now still knowingly wanting to enter a plea to this offense?
Sí,
And Mr. Dominic, as attorney for Mr. Cisneros Torres, have you had the ability to discuss with him the possible problems he may encounter with regard to his immigration status if he enters a plea to this crime?
Like I stated, Your Honor, he has consulted with an immigration attorney. And sorry that she wasn't cutting off. And he has signed a Padilla letter to that effect, and we have confirmed that he has spoken to his immigration attorney about the consequence.
After your discussion with Mr. Cisneros Torres, did he indicate to you that he wanted to go forward with a plea bargain with the state at this time?
He did, Your Honor.
All right, fair enough. And Mr. Dominic, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
They have, Your Honor.
Okay, let's see what we're doing here. Mr. Cisneros Torres, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, how do you plead, sir?
no me opongo.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Cisneros Torres, please?
Yes, Your Honor. The agreement is 364 days deferred adjudication, a $450 fine with court costs, 36 hours of community service, DWI education, VIP, CAT SNP, and a Smart Start for half the term.
And Mr. Dominic, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Mr. Cisneros Torres, in clause 624742, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt. Place you on 364 days of deferred adjudication probation, assessing a $450 fine plus court cost, 36 hours of community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety, new intervention program, and the Smart Start mobile home device at 4 blows a day for 6 months. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Cisneros Torres?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
All right, good luck, Mr. Cisneros Torres, and thank you, Mr. Dominic.
Thank you, Your Honor. May my client be excused?
You may.
Thank you.
And are we ready to go forward on Mr. Chavez, both his cases at this time, Mr. Dominic?
Sorry, Judge, I just heard you. I was actually going to use the same computer that Mr. Cisneros is at to have Mr. Chavez come in. So he's in my front lobby. We can go with Mr. Anselmo if you'd like while I set him up, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Sanchez, are you ready to proceed on Mr. Mendez?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This is cause number 661.
Sí, sí lo escucho.
This is cause number
Okay, sí.
661-286, State of Texas versus Anselmo Otter Mendez. Mr. Mendez and Mr. Sanchez, I'm looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference that supposedly has both your signatures on it. In fact, Mr. Mendez, is this your signature on this document?
Sí,
And Mr. Sanchez, as attorney for Mr. Mendez, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Mendez, I next have two documents, one in English and one in Spanish, entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. Hang on a second. All right, let's try again. Mr. Mendez, in cause 661-286, I'm now looking at a document entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions that purports to have your signature on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, sir, is this your signature on this document also?
sí,
And in fact, I have two documents, one in English and one in Spanish. Are these your signatures on each of these documents, sir?
sí,
Thank you. By signing these documents, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read these documents or have them read to you in their entirety? If you had any questions about what was on these documents, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney, so that in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents. Is that correct, sir?
sí,
Thank you. Mr. Sanchez, as attorney for Mr. Mendez, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Mendez, are you a United States citizen, sir?
no,
Mr. Mendez, if you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a plea of guilty or nolo contendere for the offense charged may result in your deportation, your exclusion from admission to this country, or the denial of naturalization under federal law. Mr. Mendez, have you discussed with your attorney and been made aware of the mentioned consequences? And are you now knowingly entering a plea to this offense?
sí,
Mr. Sanchez, as attorney for Mr. Mendez, have you had the ability to talk to him about the possible problems he may encounter with regard to his immigration status if he enters a plea to this crime?
Yes, I have.
And after your discussion with Mr. Mendez, did he indicate to you that he wanted to go forward with the plea bargain with the state at this time?
Yes, he did.
Thank you. And Mr. Sanchez, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
Yes, they have.
Okay, Mr. Mendez. And cause number 661-286 to the charge of assault bodily injury. How do you plead, sir?
culpable.
And your paperwork says no contest. I don't think it matters to me or the state. Mr. Sanchez, how do you want your client to plead?
Oh, no contest, Your Honor.
All right, court accepts the plea of no contest. Is there an agreement for Mr. Mendez?
Yes, Your Honor, there is an agreement. The agreement is 14 months deferred adjudication plus a $500 fine and court costs, 48 hours community service, APSE no contact order with Otiquio Gonzalez Ramirez.
And Mr. Sanchez, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, it is.
And there's no restitution in this case. Is that correct, State?
Judge, I don't believe so.
Okay. Mr. Mendez, in clause 661-286, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of assault bodily injury. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt, place you on 14 months deferred adjudication probation. It says a $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours of community service, the APSE stress management course, or do you have no contact with Eotiquio Gonzalez Ramirez? Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Mendez?
Nothing further
Nothing.
from the state.
Nothing further from the defense.
Good luck, Mr. Mendez. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez.
Thank you, Judge. May be excused.
You bet. And Mr. Dominic, are you set up on Mr. Chavez yet?
Yes, Your Honor, we're set up now. I
All
think
right,
you can
let's
see
slide
it.
into that one. This is called 648-446 and 648-447, State of Texas versus Jose L. Chavez. And Mr. Chavez, I'm looking at two documents, one for each case, and the documents are titled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference. In fact, is this your signature on each of these two documents, one for each case, sir?
Sí,
Thank you. Mr. Dominic, as attorney for Mr. Chavez, is this also your signature on each of these documents, one for each case?
It is, Your Honor.
Next, Mr. Chavez, I have two documents, one for each case. The documents are entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions that purport to have your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Chavez, is this your signature on the back of each of these documents, one for each case?
sí,
By signing each of these documents, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read these documents or have them read to you in their entirety? If you had any questions about what was on these documents, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney, Mr. Dominic, so that in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on each of these documents. Is that correct, sir?
sí,
Mr. Dominic, as attorney for Mr. Chavez in both these cases, have you had enough time to go over each case with Mr. Chavez? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
We have, Your Honor, and he is, Your Honor.
Mr. Chavez, are you a United States citizen, sir?
no,
Mr. Chavez, if you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a plea of guilty or nolo contendere for the offense charged may result in your deportation, your exclusion from admission to this country, or the denial of naturalization under federal law. Mr. Chavez, have you discussed with your attorney, been made aware of the mentioned consequences, and are you now knowingly wanting to enter a plea to each offense, one in each case?
sí,
Mr. Dominic, have you had the ability to discuss with Mr. Chavez the possible problems he may encounter with regard to his immigration status if he enters a plea to either of these crimes, one in each case, 648-446 and 648-447?
We have, Your Honor. He's consulted with an outside immigration attorney, and we've had a chance to discuss it.
Okay, at the after he had just gone over this matter with an immigration attorney, did he have a discussion with you wherein he indicated to you that at this time he wanted to go forward with a plea bargain on each of these cases?
Yes, Your Honor, and we have a pretty letter to that effect as well.
Fair enough. And Mr. Dominic, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on both of these cases?
They have, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Chavez, in clause 648-446 to the charge of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content of 0.15 or higher, how do you plead, sir?
no me opongo,
And state, is there an agreement for Mr. Chavez in, let's start with 648446.
There is, Your Honor. 364 days Bear County Jail, probated for 364 days. $900 fine. Court cost, 60 hours of community service. DWI education. Victim impact panel. Cat snip. Smart Start Mobile for half the term. Restitution, if any, to Patricia Ann Sanchez. Restitution, if any, to Delio Peña Jr. Restitution, if any, to Kiana Alicia Malvo. And $60 to DPS.
And Mr. Dominic, is that your understanding of the plea bargain in 648446?
It is, Your Honor.
And state, I'm assuming 648446 is going to run concurrent with 648447. Would that be correct?
That would be correct, Your Honor. On 4-7, it's going to be a JSAT.
Oh, okay. Then sure of that. Okay, let me do a little writing here. I'll be right back with you. Okay, Mr. Chavez, in clause 648446, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content of 0.15 or greater. I find you guilty. I assess 364 days in the Bear County Jail probated for 364 days. A $900 fine plus court costs, 60 hours of community service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock at 4 blows a day for 6 months. A restitution, if any, to Patricia Ann Sanchez, Delio Peña Jr. or Kiana Alicia Malvo, and $60 reimbursement to the Texas Department of Public Safety for a lab fee. Anything further from the state of the or the defense on Mr. Chavez in 648446?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Chavez in clause 648447 to the charge of duty on striking unattended vehicle with damage over $200. How do you plead, sir?
No me opongo.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Chavez on 648447?
There is, Your Honor. 6 days Bear County Jail, $0 fine, court cost, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, and if it pleases the court, we ask this judgment be satisfied.
And is that your understanding of the agreement, Mr. Dominic?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Chavez in clause 648447, court accepts your plea of no contest on the offense of duty on striking unattended vehicle with damage over $200. I find you guilty. I assess 6 days in the Bear County Jail. Assess a $0 fine plus court cost, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Chavez in 648447?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Chavez, and thank you for your help, Mr. Dominic.
Thank you, Your Honor. May we be excused?
You bet.
Thank you. All have a great day.
Okay, gracias.
And that takes care of all our Spanish speakers, I'm thinking. Yes, thank you so much.
I thank you so much, Norma.
Okay, I show we have Melissa Camacho, Miguel Perez, and Joseph McGee. Are those the three we have left, Pat? Is that correct? Or
And Mr. Jordan Reynolds, Your Honor?
do we have paperwork on Mr. Reynolds?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe I had sent that to y'all to make sure.
I don't
Did he
have it.
say Michael Pettis? I didn't hear him say Michael Pettis.
I
Yes.
said Miguel Perez. I'm assuming that's.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Same guy.
How long ago did you send that to me, Pat?
I'm looking, Judge, if you just give me a minute to look. You can do the other ones, Your Honor.
Yeah, let's do the other ones. All right.
Give me a chance.
This is cause 637-815, State of Texas versus Melissa Camacho, represented by Mr. David Friesenhan. Are you ready to proceed, Mr. Friesenhan?
Yes, Judge.
And 658-142, State of Texas versus Michael or Miguel A. Perez, represented by Ms. Suzanne Kramer. Are you ready to proceed, Ms. Kramer?
Yes, Judge.
And cause 642-474, State of Texas versus Joseph McGee, represented by Ms. Linda Corley. Are you ready to proceed, Ms. Corley?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference, which purports to have your signatures on it. Ms. Camacho, and cause 637-815 on the defendant's consent to plea by video conference. Is this your signature, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Friesenhan, as attorney for Ms. Camacho, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. And cause 658-142, Mr. Perez, is this your signature on the defendant's consent to plea by video conference document?
Yes, sir.
Is that yes?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. And Ms. Kramer, as attorney for Mr. Perez, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. And in cause 642-474, Mr. McGee, is this your signature on the defendant's consent to plea by video conference document?
You need to unmute.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Ms. Corley, as attorney for Mr. McGee, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I have for each of you is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. That purports to have your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Ms. Camacho, in clause 637-815, is this your signature on this document also?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Perez, in clause 658-142, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And in clause 642-474, Mr. McGee, is this your signature on this document also?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. By signing this document, so each of you telling me that you've had enough time to either read these documents or have them read to you in their entirety. If you had any questions about what was on these documents, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorneys. So that in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents. Is that correct, Ms. Camacho?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Perez?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And is that correct, Mr. McGee?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. As attorney for Ms. Camacho, Mr. Friesenhan, have you had enough time to go over this case with her? And in your opinion, is she mentally competent?
Yes and yes.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Kramer as attorney for Mr. Perez.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Corley as attorney for Mr. McGee.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Camacho, are you a United States citizen, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Perez.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. McGee.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Friesenhan, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on Ms. Camacho's case?
As far as we know, Judge.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Kramer with regard to Mr. Perez's case.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Corley with regard to Mr. McGee's case.
Judge, they've given me everything on the discovery acknowledgement.
Thank you. All right, let's see what we're doing with Mr. Camacho, or Ms. Camacho, excuse me. Okay, Ms. Camacho, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, ma'am?
Guilty.
Is there an agreement for Ms. Camacho?
Yes, Your Honor, there is an agreement. The agreement is 6 months, probated for 12 months, plus an $850 fine, plus court costs, 48 hours of community service, DWI education, VIP, CAT SNP, Start Smart, for half the term, $60 to DPS, restitution, if any, to Maribel Reyes and Garrison Namvar.
Okay, let me do a little writing here. And Mr. Friesenhahn, is that your understanding of the agreement? Mr. Friesenhahn, can you hear me, sir? David? Is he frozen?
He looked like he was frozen.
Mr. Friesenhahn, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now, Judge.
Okay, sir. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is.
Thank you. Ms. Camacho, in cause 637-815, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of driving while intoxicated. First offense, I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, an $850 fine plus court costs, 48 hours of community service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, Smart Start mobile home interlock device at 4 blows a day for 6 months, which is half the term, $60 reimbursement to the Texas Department of Public Safety for a lab test, restitution, if any, to Maribel Reyes and Garrison Namvar, Namvar, Namvar. Anything further from the state or the defense on Ms. Camacho?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further from the defense.
Good luck, Ms. Camacho. Thank you, Mr. Friesenhahn. Y'all are dismissed.
Thank you, Judge.
You bet. And let's see what we're doing with Mr. Perez. State, you got a motion?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, the state moves to waive the 0.15 enhancement.
No objection, Judge.
Imagine not. No objection from the defense, that will be granted. Therefore, Mr. Perez, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Perez?
Yes,
There
Your
is,
Honor.
Judge.
There is an agreement. The agreement is 180 days in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 20 months with a $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours of community service, DWI education, victim impact panel, cat snip, Smart Start mobile for half the term. And that'll be it.
And Ms. Kramer, is that your understanding of the agreement?
That is the agreement, Judge.
Mr. Perez, in cause 658-142, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 20 months, a $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours of community service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, and a Smart Start mobile home interlock device at 4 blows a day for half the term, which is 10 months. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Perez?
Nothing from the defense.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Perez. Thank you, Ms. Kramer. Y'all are excused.
Thank you, Judge.
You bet. And let's see what we're doing with Mr. McGee. State, you got a motion on Mr. McGee's case also.
Yes, Your Honor, the state moves to waive and abandon the 0.15 enhancement paragraph.
Any objection, Ms. Corley?
No objections, Your Honor.
Imagine not. That'll be granted. So, Mr. McGee, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, how do you plead, sir?
No contents.
Is there an agreement for Mr. McGee?
There is, Your Honor, 180 days Bexar County Jail, probated for 16 months, $850 fine, court cost, 48 hours community service, DWI intervention, victim impact panel, cat snip, Smart Start mobile for half the term, and $60 to DPS.
That is our agreement, Judge.
Thank you, Ms. Corley. Mr. McGee, in clause 642474, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated. First offense, I find you guilty. I assess 6 months in the Bear County Jail, probated for 16 months. An $850 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI intervention program, DWI Victim Impact Panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock at 4 blows a day for half the term, which is 8 months, and $60 reimbursement to the Texas Department of Public Safety for a lab fee. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. McGee?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Ms. Corley, and good luck, Mr. McGee. Y'all are dismissed.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You bet.
Thank you, Judge.
And
Mr. Reynolds' paperwork is over there. You print it and hurry up. I
look, there it is.
He only has 4% left on his.
I
phone.
have 1% now, so my phone might die. I apologize, Judge. I'm here in Comal County. I had to take an in-person plea.
I'll talk real fast.
Okay. Well, I hope I make it, Judge.
All right, give me a minute to run in the next room and get my copy.
Run. Mr. Navy, we need to get you a car charger.
Yeah, I didn't think that would be an issue. I
know,
didn't
but
think about it.
always have one, especially if y'all are traveling back and
I
forth.
know.
Okay, we're ready to proceed on cause number 646382, State of Texas versus Jordan S. Reynolds. Mr. Navi, are you ready? Did we lose Mr. Navi?
Navy, Mr. Navy, it looks like we lost him. Oh my God. Let's see if he comes back.
Maybe he's got a phone charger. We'll have to see.
No, I told him that especially the attorneys that travel to other counties, they should have a phone charger.
Well, let's just all take a break and let's see if he gets back on in a little bit. And if he doesn't, we'll come up with a new plan.
Okay, Your Honor, I've got someone from De Cueto and Ramos on. I don't know what they need.
It's Taylor from our office. Hi, Pat.
Oh, no.
Yes, Judge.
What do y'all need? I got a couple of travel requests from y'all, but I haven't had a chance to look at them yet. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, one of them's for this Sunday.
One of them is for Mark Maychak. Does that sound right? And then one's for somebody else?
No, I don't know who that person is that you just said. I don't think that's one of our people. It's a woman named Christine Stragisher.
Hang on.
That's the